Joining us now live is Republican political strategist Matt Klink. Some cabinet members, Matt, are holding preliminary talks about perhaps invoking the 25th Amendment to remove the president from office. Also, we now know that there's a movement in the House among some members, House of Representatives among some members, to possibly try to impeach him again. Are either of those things possible? And good morning to you.
Hi, good morning. Look, both of those are possible. The reality is that with only 12 days left in the Trump presidency, the odds are more likely that the clock will just be run out. Trump said this morning, after Congress certified that Joe Biden was president of the United States, by confirming that 306 electoral college votes, that he would proceed with an orderly transition of power. But coming on the heels of what happened in the ugliness yesterday, those words kind of ring hollow. So I think that's just gum flapping in Washington about getting rid of Trump. The reality is the clock will probably run out before anything could be done.
Right, but there are still millions of Republicans out there convinced that the election was indeed stolen. So what, if anything, can President-elect Biden do to kind of bring the country together?
Well, I don't think that Joe Biden, it's not Joe Biden's responsibility to try to convince people that have an irrational view of what happened on November 3rd. I think that the reality of the situation is that the overwhelming majority of Americans understand that Joe Biden was elected, that he will assume the office on January 20th, and for a small number that insist on Donald Trump's victory, he won't be there anymore, so that won't be the case. Joe Biden's job is to cater to the overwhelming majority of Americans who, frankly, are clamoring for leadership in a day yesterday that we were without leadership. Even the president's words yesterday, they rang hollow. In fact, he spent more time whining about an apparent election stolen from him than he did telling the violent protesters to go home, and that was just really disappointing.
Matt, what happens after January 20th for the president? Do you think he immediately announces a run for not re-election, but election again in 2024? Do you think he's going to be too busy dealing with legal troubles, perhaps on state levels?
Chris, I think that the ship has sailed on Donald Trump desiring to hold office again. That was always kind of a pipe dream of his. But the reality is that yesterday was the straw upon the straw that broke the camel's back. His political future is done. He may have the ability to influence, to play kingmaker about who comes next in the Republican Party. But I think even that, based on what happened over the last 5 weeks, really since November 3rd, that has diminished significantly, and you're going to start to see Republican candidates go in other directions.
Matt Klink, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us this morning. We really appreciate it.
Thank you very much for having me.